Okay, guys, I'm here on this page where I already have this solution built in. So let me very quickly loop you through through the solution first. I'll just run it for once for you to show you how it works, and then I will go to the I will first give a theoretical explanation how the code works, and then I will go to the code line by line and start to explain. So so this problem is basically about finding from a range of cells of finding the combination of cell values that actually sum up to a certain target that we have decided. So I'm not taking too big range of cells here, because in that case the video will go too long, which I don't want. So I have only selected a range of 4 cells, and I already have a target. So I'm using these 2 cells as my target. So just let me show the tabs, and as you can see, so only these 2 cells are my target. So the summation here, if you look at the bottom right hand side, it's 1367.92, which I have put in my target field. So my code upon triggering should be able to find the combination of cells that sums up to this target. So if I click simply, I have selected this range of cells. If I simply click on solve, I have already a pause, so let me remove that. So let me run it once again for you. So if I select the range and then if I click on solve, it will quickly find the combination that sums up to this target. So this is what the VBA solution is. If you look at my previous video, you will find that I have run this code for a bigger range of cells as well, and that works perfectly. So only reason behind selecting a smaller range is to keep the video a little video explanation of the code a little shorter. So let's begin with, so let me begin with explaining how this code works. So that to be able to find the combination, so the code that I have built will be looping through each and every cell of the selected range, and will try to build a combination of cells that will reach up to the target. So whenever it begins, it will look at the range, and it will begin with the very first cell. So in our case, this is 128.84. So it will consider 128.84 as the very first value that should be that will become one of the values of the combination that we are looking for. Then once it has selected the first cell, it will also check if this value is already equals to target or is greater than target. So it will do that, and it will find that 128.84 is well below the target, and will proceed further to be able to meet the target. So we'll so when we selected this first cell, we also passed on to the subroutines. We also passed on to the code the remaining range from where we need to select the remaining cells for the combination. So we have already selected 128.84, and we pass this remaining range to the code again, and that remaining range will again pick the very first cell. That code will again pick the very first cell from the remaining range. So it will this time pick 132.8.65. So now we have 2 cells in our combination. So we will do a summation of it, and we'll see if the target is matched or it has fallen short. So yes, we see that 1457.49, which has gone bigger than our target. So we know that this combination is not going to work. So 128.84 combined with 1328.65 is not going to achieve our target. It has already gone beyond it, and adding more values to this combination is anyways not going to help. So what our code will do is it will again leave this 1328.65 out of the combination, and will proceed further with this remaining range. So in the first attempt for this range, we had picked this value of 1328.65, but that didn't work. So we will leave that, and we will move on with 39.27. So we already have 128.84, and now we will do a combination of 128.84 and the second cell from the remaining range, that is 39.27. So we'll again do a evaluation if the summation of the summation of the combination that we have decided works or not, and that is just 168.11. It's well it's far less than the target, as of yet. So we know that we need to we need to add more cells. So we will proceed further, and out of those three cells we'll be now moving ahead and selecting the third cell, and adding that to the combination. So we'll be selecting this one, and we'll do a evaluation again, and we'll come to know that still we are less than the target. The summation is only 986.27. So by and we are also not left with any more combination of cells. So by now, logically we already know that the any combination beginning with 128.84 is not going to help to achieve the target. But the code is written in a way that it will try out all the combinations. So it first tried 128.84 and 1328.65, then it gone beyond it, so it left 1328.65, and it again started with 128.84 and 39.27. It was short, so we added 818.16. Even though we know this is falling short, but our code will try the last combination as well, which is 1328.84 and 818.16, because it's meant in a way to try out all the combinations, and we never know if a particular combination will be working. So the code will try out the last combination, which is 128.84 and 818.16, and then again it will fall short of the target. So here the code becomes absolutely sure that any combination beginning with 128.84 is not going to work. So it will roll back everything, and it will go to the very first stage of all the cells, and it will again start the combination preparation with the next cell in line, which is 1328.65. So this time our very first cell in the combination is 1328.65. Now we will proceed further, and the remaining range uh, at this time is only these two cells. So now 1328.65 will be first combined with 39.27, and we'll do the evaluation whether it has matched the target or not. And as soon as the code comes to know that yes, this combination actually matches the target, it will not go any further. It will immediately print the output here and will exit from the entire code. So this was the explanation how the code is going to prepare the combination that we are looking for. Now let's quickly jump onto the codes and see how it works. So before I do that, let me put a pause in my code, and I've selected the range already, and I'll just click on the solve button. Now let's move ahead slowly, steadily. So now I'm going to launch the main solving code of the solving subroutine of the code. So this line ABC, this subroutine ABC, which takes these four arguments, will be initiated. So I will also explain what these four arguments are. So this selection is nothing but the selection of the cells that we have currently selected in Excel, which has 4 cells in it. This range D4, this holds the target that we are looking for, and this XYZ bracket open bracket close, this is nothing but a blank array that we will be passing on to this ABC code, which will be used to hold the combination. And this last variable, which is a boolean value, will be passed onto this ABC, because the ABC itself is going to initiate a nested loop. So ABC itself will be calling itself again and again to keep on trying new things, new combinations. So this boolean, this true value will help us to identify if the ABC instance of this ABC subroutine has been called by the solve subroutine, or it has been called by the ABC subroutine itself. So whenever the solve subroutine is calling the ABC subroutine, we will pass on true. And further in the code, if I go inside the ABC subroutine here, whenever it is calling itself again, so if I go scroll down here, the ABC subroutine is calling itself, and this time when it is calling itself, we will be passing on false, so that we know that this is not the parent ABC instance which was called by the solver, but it is a initiation of the it was initiated by itself. So let's move on to the codes to give you the practical explanation of it. So I'll just hit F8. I'll begin with, so as I had told you earlier, so we will always begin with checking if all the instances, the summation of all the instances in our current array has already matched or not. So even though it has just started and my array is currently blank, but still the evaluation will be run because the code is already written there, so evaluation will be run. So this line of code is going to simply do a summation of all the instances that are loaded in the array and will store that value in S. So let's proceed with that. So this sum array function is doing nothing but it's doing the summation and storing the value in variable S. So as you can see in S, there is it has a value of 0 because there is anyways no value up till now which has been stored in the my array variable. So the array variable. So let's proceed. So now next I'll be checking if my S is equals to target, which is not the case, and then I will also see if my S has become greater than the target, which is also not the case. So we will proceed further. This particular line I will explain you later in the code when the situation arrives. Talking about it right now is not going to it will rather confuse people. So let's proceed further. So now I'm going to initiate this. So I have already reached the place where I will start building my combination, and I will use all the cells of the range that was selected, that was passed to this ABC subroutine. So as we can see, this range which was passed to this subroutine has already 4 cells into it. If you also look into the Excel in the background, you find there are 4 values in the selected range, 4 cells in the selected range, and I'm going to run this loop for all those 4 cells. And in the very, as everyone, I mean, I'm sure everyone knows how for loop works, so I'm not going to talk more about it. So the very first instance is when I is equals to 1, and I will go further. So very first value that is going to be picked for a combination is 128.84, because the code is written in a way that it will always pick the very first value at the first instance to prepare the combination. So as you can see in the variable n, we have already loaded 128.84, which is the very first value of the selected range. And then what this portion of code is going to do till here is going to do is it will simply create, because we have out of this range of 4 cells, we have already selected 128.84, and now whatever other cells we are going to pick will be out of the remaining range. So it will not have the all 4 range cells of the range. So we will have to have the remaining range from where the remaining set of values will be picked to prepare the combination. So this portion of code is doing nothing but it's trying to get the remaining range. So I have already got the remaining range created and stored in this remaining variable. Let me also just show you so that you can know what is the remaining range. Practically you can see what is the remaining range. So I'm just executing this line. Ideally in my solution this line will be disabled. So back in the Excel, if you see, the remaining range is selected because 128.84 is already part of my combination now, and we need to find other values from the remaining range. So that you can see that has already got selected in my Excel in the background. So now the next thing which I was explaining earlier, the indicator whether the ABC subroutine has been initiated by the is the original initiation which was triggered by the solve subroutine or not. So since this is the very first initiation of this ABC subroutine, we know the INI indicator is true because solve had, while passing this in command to ABC, they had passed the value of true to INI indicator. So I know. So, and by this, I also know that my array is currently absolutely blank and has no instances into it. So I'll be adding one instance to my array. So that I'm doing here, and then I'll be loading the value of the first cell that we have decided into this instance, and I will also be creating an ID for this instance, so that I know. So whenever I I fail to make the combination which matches the target, I will know which all values, which all instances I need to wipe out. So this is nothing but that. So I will maybe explain it later when I have the right opportunity in the code ahead. So I'll just move ahead from now, for now. Now here comes the tricky part. Now we have already one one value, one instance in my array, and I will have to first evaluate whether that instance itself is, matching the target or not. So to be able to do that, I will again reinitiate this ABC subroutine. So it's going to call itself, and as you can also notice, I have also passed false into it, into the ini variable or ini argument of it, so that I know that this ABC initiation is, is being called by this ABC itself. So let me also keep on capturing a few information in the Excel so that I can explain you. So as of now, I have run, so let me say ABC, I have already run the first initiation of ABC, which had a cells, which had 4 cells in it, and I have currently I equals to 1. So this is the first loop, where I is equals to 1. This is the first loop of the original ABC instantiation, and now I'm going to initiate the second ABC. So with this lines execution, as soon as I do that, I've initiated the second ABC, and this time the remaining range was passed into it. The remaining set of cells were passed into it. So this time this only have 3 cells, and let me proceed further. So the very first thing is the summation to check if the value has matched, and that is not, because if in the S you only see 1 to 8.84, which is the only instance which was loaded in the array. So these if conditions will fail because my summation is not up to the target. So I've quickly looped through them, and then I will now initiate the loop for this second instance of ABC, and my I will again begin from 1. It's not going to do it from 2, because some people may get confused that previously we have already done 1, but that 1 was for the first instance of ABC here, and now we are into the second instance of ABC, and we are just going to initiate the for loop here. So this is the first time initiation of this for loop, and as you can see, the I has a value of 1. So I will simply put it equals, here as well. So the second ABC instance also has the first loop initiated. Let's move forward, and again I will pick the very first value from the remaining range, which will be, this time the remaining range was this, which was passed on, and the very first cell value is 132.8.65. So if I execute this line, you will see in the n variable 132.8.65 has been loaded, and now once that is done, we will again decide upon the remaining range that will be passed on to the next instance of ABC again, to select further cells that, that is required for the combination to be made. So let's move ahead. So I have already made the, with this execution of this line, I've already made the, remaining range, and just to show you in the Excel in the background, I'll execute this particular line. So here you have, so you can see the remaining range has been selected, which will be passed on to the next initiation of ABC. So again, this time I know that the INI indicator is false, because this instance of ABC was not called by solver, this was called by itself. So I know that this indicator is false, and hence I also know that by this I also know that my array variable, or the array that I'm using to store the combinations, is no more blank. It already has one value in it, and I just need to add another instance into it. So this line where my code execution is, will simply add one more instance. So here you can see I'm just adding one more instance to the current array, and then I will be adding the value which I have just decided upon, which is 132.8.65, to this newly added instance, and I will also add the loop ID. So the loop ID is always the count of cells that were there in the range that was passed to this instance of ABC. So this time it was passed with 3. So currently, which you can see in Excel, will be passed on to the next ABC initiation. But at this ABC initiation, as you can also see in the Excel cells, had 3 cells. So the loop ID becomes the count of cells which was in the range which was passed to this ABC. So I'll just move ahead, and I've already initiated I equals to 1, right? So I equals to 1, yes. And let's move. So now again, I will again, to be able to evaluate whether my target has been matched or not. So that for that as well, the ABC has to be reinitiated. So I will simply initiate this ABC line, and this is going to trigger the third instance of ABC. I will also catch it in the Excel so that people can follow. So I'll just say F8, and now we are already in the third instance of ABC. And this time the range that was passed to this ABC initiation is only this, and this has only 2 cells into it. And I am still waiting to initiate the loop, but then let's go ahead first. So let's do the summation of all the instances that are there in the array, and catch that in the S. So here I'm doing the summation. Let me also show you here the very first instance in this array variable is 128.84, and the second instance is 1328.65, and the summation gets loaded into the S. Now we find that the the S variable has the total value of 1457.49, which has already gone beyond our target. So it's not equal to our target, but it has become bigger than our target. So we are inside this if condition now, and here we will have to loop back, and we'll have to eliminate the last instance that we added, because we know that the last instance that we added, that is making the total summation go beyond the target. So we cannot just proceed with adding more cells, so that will anyways fall beyond the target. So we will have to loop back and remove that 1328.65, and then this proceed with adding the other cells. So we are also already inside this if condition now. And now the very first thing which we will want to do here is the whether we'll have to see whether my array has more than one instance or not. So if it has more than one instance already, we'll just remove the last instance. Only in case when my array has only one instance, and that instance itself has a value of bigger than the target, we would have come here and would have reset my array from the very beginning. I mean, all the instances would have got cleared out of my array. But then in this scenario, we already have two instances, and we just need to remove the last instance from our array. So let's go ahead and so currently I have two instances. As soon as I initiate this line, I'm left with only one instance, which has a value of this 128.84. So let's proceed further. I've already wiped out the 1328.65, and now since I have already wiped it out, and I know going further into this loop is anyways not going to have not going to help, because there's no requirement of adding any more cells with in this instantiation. So I'll simply exit this up. So let me also put it here. So this cell I simply did a exit sub. So I did not do a for loop here, because I simply exited the sub, and I'm back onto the initiation where I had two cells. So as soon I was in the third initiation of the ABC, as soon as that got exited, I am back into the second initiation, because this was the parent which called this. I'm again back into this second instantiation of ABC, which had a range of two cells. So I'm back into that. And now previously so in this second instance I had only I equals to 1, which you can see here as well. And as soon as I proceed with this line F8, you will see now the I is equals to 2. So this, for the second instance of ABC, the I has now become equals to 2, right? So I already had I equals to 1, and now the second loop of this range is being run, and the I has become 2 here. Now let's move ahead. I will be picking up the next value, which will be the 39.27. So in this instance, I had passed 3 cells. So if I go to this, you will find, if if you notice the value which has appeared upon hovering on the range variable. So you can also see it here. This range has 3 cells, and I'm initiating the loop for the second time, and I'm going to pick this second value into my combination. So I have already removed the 1328.65, which was the first value for this range, and now I'm going to proceed with adding the second value, which is 39.27. So here in this n variable, the 39.27 will get loaded. I will proceed further with determining the remaining range, which will be the last cell, obviously, because we have already left this, and we have taken it, and the remaining range from where I can select the cell is only this. So I have this one. I tried this and I left it, and I have already picked this. So now the only remaining option is this. So that becomes my remaining cell. If I just go back and show you, so let me just be here, and if I select the remaining range, that will come to this. So this is simply saying that the only option is left further is 818.16. Currently I'm proceeding with 39.27. So let's again this condition here will again fail, and I will come to this line, because this instance of ABC is again not the parent instance which was called by solve, but it was this is the instance which was called by itself. So I'll simply come here, and as you remember, I had already removed the 1328.65 from my array, and now currently I'm only left with one instance which holds the value of 128.84. And now I will be adding one more instance to it, and I will be loading the next value, which is 39.27, into this instance. So let's do this, and I will be capturing the loop ID as again 3, because this instance of ABC has a range, has a cell count of 3 in its range. So I will proceed, and then again I will again have to initiate this ABC to understand, to see if the current combination that we have made so far is matching to the target or not. So let's just proceed. Let's do the summation to see what is the very first value is 128.84, next is 39.27, and the summation will get loaded in S, which is 168.11, which is far less than the target. So we will again go through these two conditions uh, to see. So the first will not match because my S is not equals to target, and then my S is also not greater than or equals to target, so I will fall out of these two conditions, and I will proceed further to add more combinations, because we are still far less than the target, so we will have to add more combinations to our array, so that we can end up getting the target. So we will proceed further. And now as you can see, if I hover my mouse on this range variable, I have only one cells, because this was the only range that was passed to this ABC instance, instance. So this was the instance 4 that was called, and this time we passed on one cell range, so I forgot to capture that earlier. So let's move ahead. So I will go, and this time the I is again 1, and I will further proceed, and I will load the remaining value, which is 818.16, in the variable n, and I will try to decide if there is any more remaining cell or not. So now with this condition, we will get to know this current line, where the current line of execution is stopped. I'll get to know if there is any more remaining range available or not, and I will as you can see, I've already decided upon it, and since there are no more options left, my remaining range will be set to nothing, because there are no more options left. So I'll simply do that. This line will anyways give error because there is nothing, so let me just skip this. And again, this will not stand true. This is not going to stand true, because this is not the original ABC instance which was called by the solve. So this is going to come here, and I'm here simply going to add one more instance to my array, and going to load the latest value in my newly added instance, along with the loop ID, which will be the count of cells in this currently passed range to this instance of ABC. Now we will again be able to the same thing will happen. We will have to go back to we will again have to initiate the fifth ABC, and this time we are passing 0 cells to it, and we'll go further, and we will first simply see if my summation is up to the mark. So 128.84 plus 39.27 plus 818.16, which this again falls short. So the S is 986.27, which is quite low from our target. So we'll proceed with checking these conditions, which will fail. And now as you know that this time while calling this fifth initiation of ABC, I had passed only 0 cells, so there is no cell range which was passed to this initiation. So this error handler is going to be helpful in this case, because this line is going to give me error. So this range has no object in it, so I will initiate this error handler, and as soon as I initiate the trigger the next line of execution, this is going to give me error, and the error handler will throw me out of the subroutine. So I'm here. So now as soon as I exit this, I did not initiated I equals to anything. I simply error loop ended. So this is what has happened. Now as soon as I ended, I came back to the loop 4 instance 4 of ABC, which had one cell into it. So if I show you the range count, you will get to know. So if I have hovered my mouse over this, so you can see it has only one cells, which is here. And now this I will become 2. So because we had only one cell, there won't be, so we had already done I equals to 1, I'm sorry. So because we had only one cell, there could not be I equals to 2 loop. But as soon as I set I equals to 2, my for loop will be exited. Exit for loop, because I is equals to 2 now, so my for loop will end. And as soon as that ends, I reach here, and when I reach here, I already know in this line of execution, I already know the combination that I have made so far with all the available cells that we had, that does not sums up to the target, that does not meets the target. So by far, now we already know that any combination starting with 1 to 8, and or any other combination is not going to help achieve the target. So what we will do is we will simply wipe out, we can simply go ahead and wipe out the entire array, and we can again begin with 1328. So first time we began with 128.84. This time we should begin with 1328. But the code is written in such a way that it will not wipe out everything. It will only wipe out 818. These two instances, 39.27 and 818.16, and this will try out this last combination as well, because the code is written to try out all the combination, and we will not be leaving anything unchecked. So what will happen is, this time this code is saying that wipe out the instance of instance which has a loop ID of 1, which was run, which was run in this fourth initiation, which was added at the fourth initiation of ABC. So let's go ahead and do that. So I am not going to talk much about this refresh array. So this is simply going to delete the, so this is looping through all the available instances of the array, and going to identify it by the loop ID. And we know that once the loop ID 1 is found, it will be deleted. So currently this also this has a loop ID of 1, which is our target, and we will be deleting that. So simply delete element. So this loop ID, which this instance which has a loop ID of 1 will be deleted, which has 818116 into it. So simply that is happening here. So let me just, so my loop will further go and get finished. And here I'm out of this sub. Now I'm out of this sub 4. So as soon as I come out of this sub 4, I will go inside the subroutine 2, because 3 is the subroutine, instance 3 is the one which called the instance 4. So as soon as I come out of the instance 4 of ABC, I will fall into the instance 3. Earlier you can see that I have already done exit sub on the 3. So let's see how this one goes. So I've already ended. Now if I go, let me go a little up and let me see. So you can see this range has 3 instances. Sorry. Okay, so I'm sorry. So 3 we had already exited. So this cannot even go into 3. So 3 was already exited. So we will fall into the instance 2, which had cell range of range of 3 cells. So 3 was earlier exited, and if you look into the video a little, go back into the video and watch, you will remember that we had already exited from the instance 3, and now we will fall into the instance 2 again. And now if I, so my current sequence is already 2. So for instance 2, I equals to already 1 was already established, I equals to 2, 1 and 2 both were established, and now this time it's going to be I equals to 3. So this has a value of 3, and this time it is going to be I equals to 3. So let's, so I have written it a little early. So let's loop, and now this time if you can see, notice I is equals to 3. So that is already done, I equals to 3. So now we will proceed further with checking the summation. No, we will proceed further with the next value which is available, which will be 818.16. So we have already tried out this and then remaining this, and now we are going to try out this and continuously with this. So this is how the code will work. So let's proceed, and this will so this remaining range and since there is no more options left, so this remaining range could not be set. So I have simply and this is anyways not going to work, so I'll simply loop through quickly, and this will again refresh array. Now this particular instance has also ended. So after applying this 3, I have already achieved the end loop here. And since we have achieved the end loop, we have also deleted the I have already executed this line. I just passed through it very quickly. You can do a pause on the video again and see how that had worked. So I will proceed further. So and now I'm going to fall back into my very first instance, which had a 4 cells into it. So the 3 has already exited, 4 has ended. So this had also end loop because it had only one, and then 5 was error loop because it has no cells, and then we fall back into the so 4 exited here and the 3 has exited already here, 2 is also ended, and now we fall back to 1 instance 1 of the ABC again. So now if you notice, the range has 4 cells into it, which it had. And now let's move ahead, and this time the I for this is 2. So earlier the I was 1, and now this time the I will be 2. So we are going to begin with new absolutely new array this time. So earlier we had started with 128.84 as the very first combination, but now we are going to begin as 1328.65 as our very first combination. So let's further move ahead. So this will be loaded 1328.65, and I'm just going to add the remaining range, which will be selected, as you can see in the background of the Excel. So we have already selected this 1328.65, and the remaining options are row 6 and 7, these 2 cells. So that has already got selected. And remember, this is the very first instance of A, which is where we have come back, and this instance of ABC was called by the solver solve method. So this is true, and this is how we know that currently my array has nothing in it, and we'll have to begin with adding the very first array into it. So we will do that, and the very first value for the value for this very first instance is going to be 1328.65. We will also add the loop ID, and we will again proceed with the remaining range, which is currently selected in the ABC. So we'll proceed. We'll very first see if the summation is matching, which is not the case. So these 2 conditions will automatically fail, and we will proceed further with the loop for this remaining range, which was passed this time once again. So we have 2 cells into it, and I is going to initiate for the first time, and let's proceed. So now I'll be loading the next value, which is 39.27 in my n, and when I will generate the remaining range, which will be selected in the Excel, as you can see. And now this initiation is again not true, because this was again not the parent one. This was called by the ABC, the instance one of ABC. So it will come here, and here we already have one instance, which is 1328.65, and we will just be adding one more instance to it to load the next value in the line. So we'll load that, and the next value which is to be loaded is 39.27. Loop ID added, and then I will initiate ABC again. Now this time, when we are doing the summation of these 2 values, 1328.65 and 39.27, The result is 1367.92, which is stored in S, and this is absolutely equals to our target that we know. Now when this if condition, this current line of execution will be executed, we'll know that this matches exactly with our target, and our results will be printed into the output column. As you can see, those are being printed. And I will also put the time that I took to explain this. So I've already spent 32 minutes into it. So, and then I will just simply end. We'll come out of this video, this subroutine. So this is what how the code works. uh, I mean, this was quite confusing, I'm sure, because this challenge actually put me scratching my head for 2 weeks to develop this, because I was myself very much confused while developing it. So I'm sure it was very confusing to understand as well, but I tried my best. Do let me know if this helps. If anyone has any question, do ask me in the comments. I'll be glad to explain what is it. And then the very prerequisites, I mean, which I should have told earlier, but then it came into my mind. So the prerequisite to understand this kind of course is to the person should be very well versed with arrays, VBA arrays and types, and the person should also be very well versed with nested loops. So these are the most basic criterias. So if you have any questions around these topics, do let me know. I will create separate videos for them, and I will upload my explanations with easy to understand examples. So until you have a very strong knowledge around these two concepts, it will definitely be very confusing for you to understand this video. But this is what I could explain. Do let me know how it was in the comments. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. I will be uploading more videos in future, and I also hope to listen from you guys. Uh, yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. Bye. Have a good day.